What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. You know what day it is, baby. It's Wednesday. Happy Hump Day! And this Wednesday, it's Watching Football Weekly. I'm here with my guy. Mr. Dub K himself from South Carolina, Will Kramer. What up, Will?
What's going on, man?
Hey. Another week in the books, getting closer to the season, baby. I'm ready.
So I got a quick story to share with you.
Talk to me.
My sweet little boy, he does this really fun thing at bedtime right now where he sings. He sings Twinkle Twinkle, and he sings Jesus Loves Me, and he won't let us sing it with him. All right. And this evening, he was singing them, and his daddy was thinking about this show. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, we're done. Right. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, my mind was not present at the moment. And then I asked him, I said, what's tomorrow? And he's like, it's Thursday. Which I was like, oh, that means we're that much closer to the weekend and football starting.
That's right.
we're hitting that mode, man.
Yep. I love it. Yep. That's ladies and gentlemen, that is where our heads are at right now. And for everything seems to be revolving around football in some way, shape, or form. I find myself at work kind of just like, oh, snap, what am I supposed to be? I should be paying attention. Right?
Yeah, drifting.
I'm just writing in the notebook. I'm looking on my computer, and all of a sudden, and it's crazy because like last week, I mean, I'm diving into notes. I'm doing everything. And then one of the guys that I watched came up to me, and he's real quiet. So he stood there, and I didn't notice he was and I'm just so diving into it. And then he kind of took a step forward, and then that's when it came into my sight, and I was like, oh, what? And he's like, he said something like, you busy? And I was like, oh, I didn't even notice you were there, man. I'm sorry, man. What's up? What's going on? I'm telling you, man, this is a full-time job, ladies and gentlemen. We dive into this. Another week in the books, another loss in the books. Albeit preseason, I can take the losses now. I don't want to not try to get into this regular season with these losses. But look, let's fix the problems right now. Let's dive right into it. Preseason Week 2, we went to Arrowhead with the same result as we had a week before. This week, it looks like we had chances at certain times, but we fell short 24-14. And shout out to your guy, Brian, who was fairly close. He said 23-19, I think he said.
Yes.
So he was fairly close to that prediction. I was hoping my guy came in to save the day, but he did not. We'll discuss that. Yeah. Another quarterback looking like he's ready to do something. Look, let's get into it, Will. Week 2, preseason. I got to put that in there. Still preseason.
Yes.
But our ones against their ones, I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed. Give me your thoughts. What do you think, man?
Yes. Yeah. So like if you took a pulse of preseason game 1 and preseason game 2, like, and you walk away from both losses and saying like, well, which one would you rather have? I don't think it's the second one.
Nope.
There were moments out there when we just looked like two different teams.
Yep.
Two different levels of teams. One team came out, they were methodical. They were together. They were business oriented. They got their things done, and They got off the field. And they said, we put in our day's work. We're ready for the regular season. Yes. There's a reason why they've been to the AFC Championship 4 years in a row. Then we got out there and went, this stuff again?
Right. It's just like, what are we doing here again? And we were out there and we're like, all right, this is an organization that we can mirror. This is a group that, all right, let's follow and see what they've been doing it right, obviously, for the last several years. And then it's just like he said, it's just like maybe it's because Carolina wasn't as with it and that we looked a lot better, but we just looked like we just couldn't keep up. They were just almost sometimes like kind of running backwards on the treadmill. We're just in here like trying to keep up with them, and we just did not look like I mean, the camaraderie, the unity, we look like we have guys in position battles trying to figure it out, but it's just not meshing.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't put my finger on it. I mean, there's obviously a lot of little holes, Will, but it's just like you said, here we go again. How can we fix this, man?
Right. How can we fix this? That's a great point, because like we said, on paper, it looks like we've got some improvements, and yet, like you said, we still saw on offense little things that derail drives. Yeah. And on defense, I mean, we're going to get into it, but the Achilles heel of our defense last year was showing up on Saturday. So it's going to take some coaching. I guess I'll say this. We all also need to pump the brakes. I'm going to have my glass full, all right, of this is still preseason, so let's not get too worried. But you heard a little bit from Patrick Mahomes when he said, they were blitzing out there. They brought some looks that we don't see in preseason. And that's a little bit concerning. Wait, we were actually trying?
Right.
You were trying?
Like, wait a minute. That's not what I saw. Go. But look. All right, look. We got it. We're not, like you said, you have your glass half full. My glass is just at that middle line. I'm not going to go higher or lower. I'm just going to keep sipping the glass. But we have to bring it out. We have to talk about it. What are the positives? What are some things we can build on? Who made some plays or stepped up to the plate, if you will? Like, what were some things that were beneficial that we can say, all right, that I liked?
Yeah. Okay. So very first one, and it's the topic of Washington right now. I thought Antonio Gibson looked really good in the role they put him in.
Yes.
They got him out of the backfield. Yeah. They put him in space. And a little bit of what I read in the last, couple days has been, where has this been all his career? When you drafted him, you talked about how you could use him in space and give him a chance to make plays, not just at running back. And they haven't really done it. Everyone keeps going back to that screen play against Buffalo where he took it 70 yards. When he showed his second gear, as soon as he got a little bit past the first set of defenders, he took off, and then we didn't do that, for most of the last season. So that was good. I like that. And as a result of it, you also had his counterpart who made some really good runs. Once again, Brian Robinson just seems very fluid out there.
Yes.
He seems very comfortable. I mean, let's be honest, this guy's a natural running back where we haven't had a natural running back for 2 years. Yeah. So you might be seeing the big difference in the two of them. The other thing that I saw, I'm going to go to the defense because I know we're really going to harp on the defense. I like two things.
Yeah.
On the second drive of the game for the Chiefs, I really like Kendall Fuller's coverage. There was a couple times down in the end zone where he made a play on the ball and he knocked the ball away, where he was really showing like they tested him and he was right there. So that I really like that. And then this is a bright spot. Okay. This is going to give us hope. This is my glass half full, thinking positive. I saw Jamin Davis around the ball a lot.
Yes.
A lot. Anytime there was a pile and a group of players, 52 was there.
Yeah.
He also did he hesitated on a play and Mahomes killed him for it because he didn't know, do I cover the back or do I cover the quarterback? And he got caught in no man's land. But I saw him flying around. And I know I was saying I wanted to see a big play and we didn't get that from him. But if you see him moving around and around the ball, that makes me think, okay, maybe he's seeing things. Maybe he's reading and reacting like we want. And there's some positives there. So that was some of the nice things I saw. The list isn't very long.
No.
I did see some.
Yeah, I mean, look, for my positives, I'm going to start where I started a week ago. This is something small, but it's something that, we're not used to. We won the first down battle again. Again, over 20 first downs. We beat the 22-20, and that's positive. And when you really look at and as you've been studying, like you and I, you've seen how much of a struggle that was for us in the last couple of years. So to start doing that, albeit in preseason, look good. And that means our offense is moving. A lot of that is because of the running game. And like we said, Brian Robinson. Now, he's from Alabama. He played in the national championship like 6 months ago. This guy is not afraid of the moment. But still, We know everything that happened with Gibson and all the turmoil and everything around him. Robinson stepped in and balled out. He did what he needed to do week in and week out. And he has us asking a question that we're going to dive into a little bit later. Is he our number one? Like, is he that guy? That is something I'm excited to see. But then obviously, like you said, Gibson, we'll touch on that. But I got to shout out your shirt. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to shout him out because I was the one who said, you better get ready. My boy's, he's nipping at your heels. He's going to do it. Heinicke showed him. He showed up and showed why we have so much love for this guy. You know what I mean? He's not the most precise passer. His passes aren't super crisp. But when he came in right before the halftime and drove us down the field when we were struggling and scored that touchdown, kept us in the game, it gave us a little bit of life. Obviously, we didn't capitalize on that. But coming off of Wentz, and albeit all the quarterbacks did well. You know what I mean? You had Wentz at 6 of 9. You have Heinicke 9 of 12. You know what I mean? And then obviously my guy 10 of 18. But we're not gonna get into that yet. But Heinicke came in and it was like I've been here before. That is what I kind of expected him. Come in here, give me a drive or two, drive right down the field, especially a 2-minute drill. And, hey, hit us with a touchdown. Get us back in the game. Give us that little bit of life. And that I was really impressed by because you know it. You know I was the one ready to be like, here, I'll pack your bags for you. Howell's moving up on the list. Hey, but Heinicke showed up, and he showed up against a team that, hey, this is the good team to show up. We've talked about all the accolades that they have. So I love that Heinicke did that. And then you know what? That's where mine stopped. Because I got something to say about somebody that I've loved, and I'm letting it out. I'm like, you know what, ladies, we're gonna move on to the negatives.
Yeah,
we're gonna move on to the negatives, and I'm just gonna start here. Okay, look, I called it out last week. I said Howell's gonna come in and he's gonna save the day. He does not look awful. He didn't look bad. He looked like everybody knew. You're not the thing that's a surprise anymore. People have footage on you, and you knew. But even still, he got 10 of 18. He over 100 yards for the second game, and I love what he's doing. He even ran the ball a couple times. My issue this week, De'Ami Brown.
Yes.
We saw that play right down the right sidelines. Howell hit you on a dime. This is going back to college. This is UNC all over again. And I'm just sitting here, look, here we go. Oh, Wentz, get them all out of here. Once you see this dime, and the defender, shout out to him, got his hand in there. But the way he got it, it wasn't a huge, like, pull your arm, disrupting the whole play type situation. It was just a little bit of a tap. You got to bring that in, De'Ami. Especially if you're fighting for a position. You're right now 4th, if not lower, on this depth chart because Erickson's been making some completion. Dax Milne has been showing up, giving us a little support. So I can't continue to defend you on that. That was a pass you needed to have, and that would have been one where he had at least a step on the defender. He might not have scored, but he would at least got down within the 5-yard line. So you got to make that play. That's what it is. And I cannot justify continually calling you out saying, yo, this guy's going to do it. This is my guy. When those type of things fall through, those are opportunities. And I get that he made the play on defense, but those are opportunities and you got to take that. You absolutely got to take that. I'm going to send it to you because we're going to talk about defense, our third down defense percentage, but offense. I'm going to break just the offense part down. We were 3 of 10. A week ago, I think we were like 8 of 14 or something like that. Okay, I can deal with that because we're moving, we're becoming successful. 3 of 10 is what makes us think, here we go again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Us being under 50% on third down, and it's like you said, once we get into this situation, it's like we can't get ourselves out of this situation. And that's something that's a carryover from last year. That's got to change because we're not going to be able to pull some of these games out if we're not above 50% on third down. So, Will, talk to me, man.
Yeah, so that was when on negatives, what I saw was when you're talking about the offense, and it's like the same things that happened last year were happening this year, where little things would derail our drive, and we don't seem to be good enough to get over those. Now, I will say that, it may be because it's preseason. And one thing to think about, like if Brian Robinson was running so well, if this was the regular season game, we probably would just keep going back to it.
Yep.
And they stopped and they started throwing the ball and they put in Gibson and they took him out. So like that's where it's like I don't want to play this up too far because it is preseason and we're trying different things. But some things I saw on offense that I didn't like, and this is when it was the starters out there. So the very first drive, we were moving the ball. We got it to midfield. And a couple times on offense, when Wentz was in there, we were moving the ball a little bit, and then we'd have these killer plays or penalties, and we just couldn't overcome it. On the very first drive, they were handing the ball off to Gibson, and he was running to the right, up to the top of your TV. Yeah. And it was second down. It was 2nd and 5, maybe 2nd and 6, so not terrible. And both of our tight ends just got driven back. Yep. And it was like, and so he had no room to run. It was a loss. It put us in 3rd and 10. So we went from what was 2nd and manageable to now 3rd and long. And then our next play, their timing was off, and the defender Nick Bolton made a real nice play on Curtis Samuel. We're punting the ball. And I was like, it's just like, part of it is like, is it scheme? Is it the fact that we got two new tight ends, one of them being a converted quarterback that should we be running to those guys' side? Is that the right way? So they got blown up. That play ended. Second drive. This is kind of on Carson Wentz. I believe it was a 3rd down play. So the rookie came off the left side, Karlaftis, and like Sam Cosmi went and like pushed him wide. And then he went inside, which kind of surprised me because there didn't seem to be anyone there. Well, Wentz kind of hurried his throw as a result of that. Antonio Gibson was wide open. He just ran out to the flat, and he was open at the sticks. Wentz rushed his throw. Instead of taking his time, he airmailed it to him. We're punting the ball again. And it's like that receiver was open. That's a play that needs to be hit. That's a 3rd down that needs to be converted, and we're moving on. And then we had the bad on the 3rd drive. Wentz held the ball. He did what people say he does. Mm-hmm. He tried to play hero ball. He got sacked. We went from field goal range to punting it, as a result of that play. So it's like there were plays out there that we did last year where you're seeing it again. It's like that was the stuff that wasn't crisp. And so that was tough to watch. That kind of what got me frustrated while I was watching it.
Yeah, that had me messed up. And if I'm not mistaken, on that one of the plays, I think on that drive where he got sacked, didn't we have a penalty on that?
We did.
Where it was something, it was like a 2nd and manageable, then got turned back to like a 2nd and 8 or something like that.
Yes.
Look, that was one of the issues. 7 penalties, 75 yards. It's just unacceptable. This is, again, this is the time to get these things fixed. Yes, but if you have those type of penalties, especially when they come on offense, like you said, those are drive killers, and we cannot have them because it kills that momentum. But that's something else. But let's flip the defense. They converted 9 of 15 on 3rd down, including their first 6, if I'm not mistaken. At least I can say we got them to 3rd down. I guess that's positive. They didn't, score on the first or second play. But Will, give me some hope, man. Glass half full. Give me some hope.
I try to be Mr. Positive here. I can't give you it's happening on 3rd down and not first and second because that was the problem we had last year. This is exactly the same problem we had last year. And it's happening to the same personnel that we had last year that we did nothing to improve. Yeah. You and I have been talking all off season. What are we doing at linebacker? What are we doing in the secondary? Are we improving? And we're not. We didn't. And the same thing, the same people are getting beat, at 3rd and long, and we're giving up plays. Now, I will say this. I don't watch a lot of Kansas City. So I've heard a lot about Patrick Mahomes. Everybody has, but I haven't really watched a lot. Man, there was some great throws out there from him.
Yeah.
There was some arm angles where like they talk about he looked like a shortstop the way he was side arming that, and he really does make plays that other quarterbacks can't. But bottom line is, I mean, that it's fun to watch, but that doesn't matter when our defense is giving things up. And he made some great throws, but we're still giving up some plays, and we gotta do something. Dude, I'm worried about this. I know it's preseason, so gosh, let's hope that there's some things they're going to bring out in week one. They're going to calm things down. However, there are signs that I look for, and we saw them. Ron doesn't talk a lot, and he talked this year. After this game, he brought up third down. We got to do better. Yeah. We got to do a better job of this. And the fact that he is bringing it up makes me feel like he's concerned or he's mad. If he's going to make it public, then he's kind of sending a message. What did you see out there with the D?
Well, first of all, before we go to that, when our secret weapon is our punter, that's a problem. Okay, when he has more yards than our quarterbacks combined, that's a problem. Okay, 6 punts for 250 some odd yards. Man has a 40 some odd yard average. That is something to worry about. So at least we're doing decent. At least we know that we're being helped in the field position battle, as he's had 3 punts inside the 20. But does that matter? No. I mean, you've seen it. At least in this game, we got to the quarterback, I believe, 3 times. You have times where we look decent. You have some first or second downs where we're getting some pressure, but it wasn't as problematic this week because it is Patrick Mahomes. And I know against the best of the best, he can, maneuver his arm and his body, contort his body so he could throw it, and get in between traffic. It was a little more wary when Darnold and Baker were doing it a week ago. But it just makes you both games, it just did not look difficult. It didn't look like, oh, here we go. Here's a moment for the crowd to get into it. It just looked like first down, second down, third. Okay, we got him to third. And the announcers, and shout out to Doc. Doc did a little bit better this week.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he was a little tame this week, and what I heard. But they were saying, okay, here, we got to get off the field. We got to get off the field. And by the third or fourth time, it was just like, what are you looking for in this one? I don't know. I mean, I want to say get off the field, but we haven't been able to do it. I expect that from the first team, but when it's just continually going and there's no kind of resistance, that's when you sit back and you say, what are we doing? And then it goes back to the coaching. Then it goes back to Joe Del Rio, and even if it goes all the way up to Rivera, and Zaganina. All right. By the end of this year, I'm going to get your name, buddy. Yeah. All right. But I mean, it goes back to those guys because what did we hear a couple weeks ago when they fired Sam Mills III? Oh, this guy is, he's energetic. He's got the ear of the guys. I didn't see much different in this game. We need to do it. That's from a defensive, line and front seven perspective. But our secondary, I go back to that 40-yard bomb on second down or something like that, where he just rolls out and whoosh, and our safety's over in the middle of the field where the ball was thrown, but at one point he had drifted over, and so then by the time he threw it, he's trailing just like the corner, and the guy just got shoestring tackle before he got in. I think Ab said it best. It just looked uninspiring. Yeah. It looked like they were going through the motions, if you will, and it gets really frustrating because you don't want to fall into that here we go again whole mantra or whatever, but what else can you say?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's what makes preseason evaluation so hard because we, like you said, if maybe they weren't going through the motions, maybe they weren't trying to show everything or do everything, they're just trying to work out the kinks and then they'd be fine. Here's one thing that I saw or that I read that I thought was interesting. So after the game, Ron called out Casey Toohill and he called him out on the second touchdown of the game. And what Casey did was, this is going to be no surprise. The theme we had last year was he ran too far upfield. And so by doing that, that allowed for a hole between the left tackle and left guard. Mahomes ran right through that to buy time, and he flipped it to his tight end for the touchdown. All right. And what Ron was saying was Hill was supposed to stay back because the pressure was coming from the other side and Sweat was coming. He had beat his man. And it's like, it's one of these things where they talk about, trusting your teammates, filling within the scheme. As he called it, Ron said, it's gap integrity. It's making sure we don't overrun the play and we form holes for the quarterback to get out and make plays. And that's what they did. My thing is, though, Ron, this is the stuff you complained publicly last year about Chase and Montez. And this is the stuff you praised Casey Hill and James Smith-Williams when they came in of playing within your scheme. All right. So my thing is kind of like what you're talking about in the beginning of your stuff about coaches is the scheme working? Because if you're going into the second year and you're still having the same mistakes, my question is it players or do you need to be tailoring something? Because whatever you're putting down, they're not picking up.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, what do you have anything else, Will, on the negative side? Because I will say this, and this is for all of my people out here that think I am this huge homer, and I'm not going to sit here and critique my guy. Okay, I will critique him. All in all, by the stat sheet, 10 of 18, over 100 yards for the second consecutive game. It looked good. But I can't overlook that one glaring interception. Because if I'm not mistaken, I texted you and Brian, I said, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. The moment, and then right as I press send, he throws into the sun. And as soon as he threw it, I was like, why did I send that text? And I saw the interception, and it was one of those situations. He was pressured. You could see he looked over to a side, and it was a timing route in his head. Okay, he's going to be there. But when you look back on the film, it's like, dude, where? Like one of the Neil O'Donnell interceptions in the Super Bowl against the Cowboys. That's like, where were you throwing that? So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, said the sun was in his eyes or whatever. But that one, he looked like 3-step drop, pressure, get out of my hands. And it was something, as we've been praising him for the last 2 weeks, it was something that was kind of like, because we talked about coming into this is that he's known for one, first read and then go. And in this one, he kind of didn't even try to scramble or anything. He just stayed in the pocket with pressure coming and went to where he thought he knew the guy was going to be. The defender made the play and he got the interception. So those are things you got to pick up on. Those are, because like you said, this isn't the first team. If it was the first team, I'd be like, okay, they've seen that stuff before. This is the rookie. This is the second and third team, the same team that you played against essentially last week where you torched them. You know what I mean? So I thought this was good for him, almost like a humbling experience, because I'm sure there was thoughts in his head. At that point, it's 17-14?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 17. This and obviously, as I was saying, this is the drive. He's going to drive us down the field, and my score is going to be the closest to the one. I mean, I had all these things in my head, and I got cocky, and I ate humble pie right after. But hey, we're going to see. I'm very eager to see what he does this week coming in, because he's going to get a lot of time. But I think Nathan said it best, and ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our guy Nathan Snell on here later. Check him out. He did a recap of the Ravens and Washington, and I think he said better. Said it the best, just like what I've been saying and what we've been saying. Let Howell learn the system. Let him learn from two professionals, one in Carson Wentz, who's been around, and one in Heineke, who's been thrust into a role, and it shows how you can kind of take it all on your shoulders and keep moving. Let him learn under those guys. Let him sit back and learn. I love what I'm seeing in preseason, but he's not ready. He's not. He's still got a couple things to learn. So we will definitely see. Real quick, I did have a positive that I forgot about. We talked about the D-line. Shaka Toney had a sack and a half in this game, and he looked pretty legit in some of those instances that he was able to do it. I think he had like 3 or 4 solo tackles as well. So he was solid, and Cam Curl 6 tackles in the game. So there are guys. We're trying to find little bright spots in there, because the score,
number 92. Don't forget him. We liked Daniel Wise and his pressure.
Oh yeah. And see, that's the thing. There are bright spots. There are places that you can say, put a pin in this. This could work, but we need it collectively.
Yeah.
And one or two players is going to be great, but just like Warren Sapp said, the lone wolf doesn't eat. If you want to eat, you need the whole pack to be with it. So, hey, we'll see. We're gonna get down to that, but we're gonna break this thing down a little bit more specific to a couple people that really have just been on our radar in a little part we call the player discussions. But we're gonna take a little breather. Be right back.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Yeah, buddy.
I love that.
Always. I just want to play it on other shows. I'm just like, can I click this? Can I do this? Absolutely. So we're going to dive into the players. And this week we're going to stay on my favorite position, the running back position. And Will, I'm gonna let you start. Antonio Gibson. We discussed him. He has been on all, he's been the center of attention on a lot of different shows and a lot of our interviews and in-house and things of that nature because of the fact that we saw that he was immediately benched a week ago. And we saw that the fumbling issues had come back and reoccurred, and we hate that. And even in practice, they kind of put him at kick returner. You saw he started at kick returner in the game. And it's kind of, they talked about it being kind of a demotion and this and that. Now, when he came in and in the role that he came in as more of, a running back by depth chart, position title, but I'm also a wide receiver. That proved to be, that's where he's gold. You know what I mean? Almost like better than McKissick. I'm closer to a wide receiver, but I mean, his hands, you see that one time hit that one-handed catch on him. So, talk to me about Gibson. Is this the role that, that fits him, getting him out in the open like this?
I definitely think it is. Yeah. No, I think what you saw in this game actually is the Antonio Gibson that got drafted from Memphis. Kick returning, playing out in space, getting him the ball, letting him run. And maybe, earlier I said, where has this been over the past few years? Maybe it's because we didn't have a Brian Robinson behind. And so they felt limited. Like if we don't have if something happens to this guy, if he gets nicked, and he has gotten nicked both, in both seasons, if we don't have another replacement for this guy, then we can't do the things we want to do. And maybe that's what you're seeing, because if they're like, we drafted this guy because he has the ability to return kicks, now they're doing it. We drafted this guy because he is fast when he gets the ball in his hands and he's tough to bring down. And he took that little slant pass from Carson and ran another 20-some yards and broke he broke an arm tackle in the process and to get the big play first time. I'm sorry, it was Heineke. I think it was. I don't think Wentz was out. But again, he showed these are the stuff we saw on film. And so maybe it's more of now they can utilize him the way they really want him to. Still let him run, a little bit too, but make him that weapon. And it's for lack of being creative, make him that slash type of player out there. And so I think this could be good. From a fantasy perspective, I have no idea what you do to him at that point. Like how is
like some all year, I guess.
Right. But but like if you're finding different ways to get him the ball, that's only a positive. So I liked that part of it. It's like this was we said, is this going to be his bounce back game? Well, it kind of was. Yeah. In the passing game.
Right. But it goes back to what we've been saying all year. Like if you only have one job, then you're most likely not going to be kept for a while unless you do that job amazingly well. And obviously with the fumbling issues, they moved him. Kick returner, he had a little 17-yard return, nothing major, but still okay. I like that. But then when you put him in receiver, when you throw him out of the backfield and you allow him to use his hands and get him in space, I mean, it's one thing, and coming from a running back, it's one thing to line up and you're looking right at 7 in the box. And you know where the ball is going. They might not know, but once they find out, it's all eyes on you. As opposed to lining up outside or even in the backfield and immediately getting out of that rush and then getting a one-on-one situation, it's a whole different psyche. It's a whole, it's like I can handle this as opposed to don't fumble, because I'm about to get hit from every single angle, So I think that what they did right here is they utilized what he's talented in. And I'm so glad they continued to give him the opportunity. We saw how they yanked him a week ago, and we heard all the stuff about, in this week, how they had put him on special teams, and is Brian Robinson the guy? And I mean, it was, in my opinion, it was a similar situation to Taylor Heineke with Sam Howell. Everybody out of the gate, Sam Howell, he's the first rookie to do this, and Sam Howell's doing all this stuff. And Heineke said, wait, whoa. I went toe-to-toe with the GOAT and beat the GOAT in back-to-back years. What have you done, Sam? And he showed up. And I think this was for Gibson, was that moment where he only had a couple carries. He only had a couple carries for like 3 yards, something like that. But he had 3 receptions for almost 40 yards, averaging about like 12 yards a pop. You know what I mean? First down, if we can continue that, and in that he looks dangerous. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, getting him out there and potentially one-on-one with a linebacker or a nickel. Come on, now.
All day.
Yeah,
give it all
I will
day.
Definitely take that. And then, but I think, like you said, I think you made a great point when you said, I don't think this is possible without Brian Robinson. I think with McKissick, you have this similar. You have a fear of him going out for a pass, but you don't have really a fear of him going between the tackles. And Jared, shout out to Jared Patterson, but he never established that as, a bruiser between the tackles. Brian Robinson, even when he gets stopped, is falling forward for yards. Brian Robinson is really, he is as advertised. And I think that takes the pressure off Gibson, because it's like, all right, young boy, you go up the middle, you get bruised, let me come out the backfield and catch a screen or something like that. I wonder, though, will the defenses be tipped off? Is that going to be like you mentioned slash? Is that going to be like when Cordell Stewart came in? Then they know, here comes the run, or like a Taysom Hill. Here comes this specific thing. And if Gibson comes in, here comes the pass. Here comes the pass. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to mesh him, get him back in there, and kind of have like what we've been saying all off season, have the both of them kind of giving a little 50-50, maybe even a little 60-40. Maybe we'll have a situation like they have in Dallas what they used to have at Dallas with Zeke and Pollard. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. One lightning, one thunder, something like that.
Right.
So
yeah.
We'll see.
So I definitely think so. And it also goes back to like there's only one football. And now, when we get to the big guy that just is coming back this week, like how many pass catchers are we going to have? Like, I mean, again, are we going to have the worst fantasy numbers because we're just spreading it around too much, which I won't be mad at.
Right.
But,
yeah, it's going to be interesting. But look, Gibson, he felt, he looked at home. He looked comfortable. And that's something I'm glad they utilized. But the reason why I'm sure you agree with me, why he looked comfortable, why he was at home, is because that boy, that 3rd round pick from Alabama, that big boy, he came in and it's one of those situations. I had it when I had Ab when he was on my team. I had Duriel out there. When you come out, they're getting the same level of punishment from the running backs. You know what I mean? Yeah. When I had the David Thompson, Ian Slatter, those type of guys, if I came out for a breather, they're coming in and they're slashing and busting you, doing the exact same thing. Having the Brian Robinson there, if he starts or if he's back up, it's just a positive for our team. It's an asset, and even when they know he's running, he's still getting yards for that, and that makes me so excited. But we have to talk about this. They've been talking about this all week, and I know we said pump our brakes on the Sam Howell thing. Should we pump our brakes on the Brian Robinson? I mean, I know they said they moved him up to the starting role, or that's the way it was perceived at least. Is Brian our guy, or what do you think?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know when you're drafting for fantasy, but I've got my eyes on him. I can tell you that.
We'll get that.
Right. I think this is where it's so kind of interesting. Let's go back to April. let's go back to Friday of the draft. In the third round, we picked this running back up, and man, it's fun to watch Twitter blow up. Right. And everyone goes like, what are we doing? We have Gibson, we have McKissick, what? We don't need a running back. And now you're out here. It's August. He's playing, and you're going, ooh, that guy looks good. Oh, that guy looks like someone we needed, you know? And so maybe that's time to just kind of got to trust the process, trust the coaches. And he does look good. And we've talked about it because he's natural with it, you know? And let's not forget, he looked good on Saturday behind Sadiq Charles on the left side and Aaron Montero on the right side. And I give you credit because I had to watch the game afterwards. And you said, you go, I'm really impressed with our offensive line during the game. You text us that. Yeah. And so I was trying to watch that and I was like, yeah, he's right. Like, we're not giving up sacks. And I don't know one of these guys. I don't know at all. I've never heard of this guy.
Never heard of
Montero. And Sadiq Charles is like finally getting some playing time, but there hasn't been anything impressive said about him. So Brian Robinson's not running behind all pro guys, and he's still finding holes. He knows what he's doing out there. Yeah. And so it's huge. And so, yeah, is he our number one back? I don't think they care who's one or two, but I think you absolutely can say he is a feature back for us, and he's going to get a lot of carries.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, look, it can only get better, almost 4 yards a carry in the game. And like you said, going to the O-line, look, we as a collective at quarterback, we're 25 of 39, 249 yards, a touchdown and an interception. And that interception, as we know, was late in the game, was a little bit due to pressure, but still they weren't really laying their hands on our quarterbacks. And that's one of the things that I noticed is that, you know, all we've been talking about is how, you know, it's been, you know, linemen have been interchangeable, bringing this guy in, taking this guy out, injuries, this and that. But they really have they seem like they've been kind of next man up, like the epitome of that. And everybody has been really playing together. And it's really been something that we haven't really, not saying that we haven't been getting pressure, but we haven't been getting blown up. Like we were, where it's like, oh, he missed it completely, and our quarterback is, you know, like the Bears, you know. Shout out there. I think Nick's in the comments. So yeah, it's just like the Bears and their O-line. You know, we are actually looking like, and maybe that goes back to coaching. Maybe that's our O-line coach who's sitting there putting things together, and hey, everybody knows what they're doing. You would hope, obviously, in week one to have our starting lineup, but if these guys are playing with each other and they're doing it successfully, we know what we dealt with a year ago, where we had, you know, our O-line just a ton of guys in and out, and we still kind of worked it. Yeah. If we can do that this year, that could be very beneficial to us. But like you said with Robinson, he's one of those type of backs, and not a Barry-ish where you don't need a running back O-line at all, but he's one of those that can work with. He's going to carry 2 or 3 guys himself. So if you give him a little bit of a hole, he'll be able to find that. And what I really like is that his vision, there's a lot of times where you can see where the play is going, and he stops and sees the hole and he's cutting inside of it. But he's making that one cut and getting that head right down the field. I love that, man. I absolutely love that.
Remember at the end of the season, Pro Football Focus did put out how many yards the offensive lines were opening up that running backs missed. And Antonio Gibson was second among all running backs in available yards. And the difference between him and Jonathan Taylor was 500 yards. Yeah. You know, like just think about how much that could help us, you know, out there. So it's like, I think the running ability became a bigger issue than we all realized. And I think the coaching staff recognized we got to do something about this. We got to fix this. And hopefully with Robinson bringing in that they did.
Yeah. And hey, we have to realize how much the running game is fully affecting our wide receivers, our quarterback, all of that. Because if we cannot sustainably run the ball, we saw what happened when we started passing the ball more and more. You know, we're 1 or 2 plays, you get a penalty, get a sack. Now all of a sudden, you know, drives are dead. And then you have it where your punter is getting 6 punts for almost 300 daggone yards. You know what I mean? That's an issue. But if we're continually running, especially when they're not being able to stop that, good. You want to open up that passing game? keep successfully running, have them bring safeties up, have them bring linebackers up so you can go over the top on them. And something we're about to talk about soon, Carson's about to get something that's going to help him definitely go over the top. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't already know, this is Washington Football Weekly. I'm your boy Sean Spencer with my guy from South Carolina, Mr. Commander Will Kramer. Yeah, buddy. Talking about that first preseason game. Yes, we did come up just shy. Yes, I'm trying to measure them now. We did come up just shy. Yes, we did come up just shy of the victory, losing 24-14, much to the chagrin of our friend Brian Westhuse, who did an excellent job talking about the game.
He did. He seemed to really enjoy it too.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we definitely got to bring him back on the show. That was great. Hopefully not when we're playing them,
right?
But definitely on for other things. But as we've been talking about most of the show, just all about the team, looking on some of the positives, some of the negatives, breaking down our running back position. One of the things that's really hit us is one of the things that we say at the beginning of each year, we're going to be good if this doesn't happen, and it's injuries. And the injury bug has nipped us all over. And a lot of it started here, but some of it started way back last year. As we've seen, Chase Young will not be starting week one. I think he's on the PUP list, so he's definitely out the first four. So, but like we've said, he might most likely middle of the season as we're looking at. So we know on that. Some news that I didn't expect to get, but we did get. Logan Thomas. Will. I thought we'd be lucky if we got him week one, but all of a sudden now he's back. Talk to me.
Yeah, that's fantastic news.
Yeah. I'll take it.
I mean, he is such a weapon. You saw it last year, even obviously with Taylor Heineke's, started 16 games. So he was out, a big part of that. But when Logan came back from the injury, the offense was moving the ball. And then against the Raiders, he tore his ACL. And then we win the last game of the season, right? That's after the Raiders. I think we lost 4 in a row. Yeah. So it shows how dynamic he is out there and how important he is to this offense. And that was before we had Jahan Dotson and before we had Curtis Samuel healthy. So that's huge.
Yeah.
I will say this though, he was cleared to practice. He is out there practicing. He's out there running routes. He's not involved in their 11-on-11 drills right now. So he's still working his way back out. Now, they did say today he ran in 7-on-7s, and you wouldn't know that he had a knee injury. He was putting a lot of pressure on that knee. He was running around. He wasn't favoring it. He was going out there, but he has a sleeve on it. Mm-hmm. I think week one is a possibility, but it's not a guarantee. We'll see if, will he be ready on week one? It's still a week and a half away, maybe, but it's a wonderful sight to see him out there because we talked about the part that we haven't seen a whole lot is how Carson Wentz loves his tight ends.
Yeah.
And we got ourselves a dynamic tight end that is coming back from injury. And we've got another dynamic tight end that is recovering from an injury too in Cole Turner. It's like, that's another weapon that we want to see out there. So I'm excited that it's coming. Ron mentioned it. Logan would probably be, one of the first ones off. He's the second one off that injured list, and I'm excited to see him ramp up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love this. And like you said, so I'm glad you clarified that he's practicing, but don't get your hopes up really high that he'll be back week one. And to be honest, I don't know that I want him back week one because we know how much of a weapon he is, and his size alone and the ability to block is paramount. And as we've seen and we addressed this last week, our tight ends were getting blown up. And this isn't Bates. Obviously, he was out. This isn't Logan Thomas. He was out. But our running game is a huge part of the thing, part of our offense, and having Logan Thomas in there, I think, will be a huge benefit to our offense. So I'm glad that he's getting back on the field and putting pressure on the leg and doing all those type of things. But it's still like we've been here before. Don't rush it.
Don't all in for week one.
Right. Yeah, no. No documentaries. Right. All right. Just you just take your time.
Yeah.
You just take your time because like you said, he is such a huge member of that offense, and he's such a big contributor that we want to have him. We're better when we have him, but we're best when we have him at 100% or the closest we're going to get to 100%.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to tell a player not to get on the field, you know, if he has that heart and that passion, but I am going to say, hey, look, let's think about the long term. This is a 17-game season. You know what I mean?
But I will say this. I'm a little concerned about our tight ends right now because we went into this game and our number one tight end, Logan Thomas, is hurt. Our number two tight end, John Bates, is nicked. Our number three tight end, Cole Turner, is nicked with and they both have like hamstrings or something that's kind of nagging them. So we need somebody. You know, now we've got the converted quarterback who's, you know, really impressing, but he's one-dimensional. You know, we got guys we're bringing off the street right now to play for us this week. You know, so there is a concern there that we're really thin. Now, maybe in the next week and a half, it may be like hey, there's no need to rush these guys back.
Yeah.
Who knows? This could be a situation. Cole Turner hasn't played all preseason. Maybe this is a Terry McLaurin stash thing where they're like, we ain't showing you anything.
Oh, yeah.
We know what we got because they talked so much about the camaraderie Wentz and Turner were making before he kind of got hurt. And maybe it's he's hurt. I don't know. Glass half full. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'll take it. I will take it. Yes. Yeah. We could. That would be great. That would be absolutely great if we've been hiding him over there. Speaking of tight ends, I know this might not be injury wise, but Samus, we put him on the injury, but then we gave him the freedom to look elsewhere if necessary.
Yeah. So they reached an injury settlement this week. So it's 1 week after on Tuesday when he got placed. It was cut down day. You know, and so last week he got placed on, I guess, injured reserve, and then a week later they settled with him because he's got a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's not something that's going to take him out all season. And so they've kind of said, you're free to sign with somebody else. And if he signs with somebody else, he can practice and play immediately. If he wants to come back to us, he has to sit out at least 3 games, I believe, before he can be eligible. So there's a little bit of a timetable there. But it's kind of interesting because, what was it? Was it a year ago? You know, he had this great workout to the fact where we just pounced on him and signed him.
Yeah.
You know, and so for them to already be kind of saying, all right, well, good luck. See, if you sign on with someone, you sign on. If not, maybe we'll bring you back. It's a little surprising, and we'll have to see because, you know, there could be teams that saw that workout too and were impressed. And, you know, so we'll see if he gets picked up. But yeah, I'm not shocked by it because I heard this was an option. But it is a little bit like, cutting and bait on him already. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that might going back to last week, I think that might answer our question. Is the Samus Reyes experiment done in Washington? It looks like they've, given up with not actually saying we're gone, but they're basically saying, you know, probably be better for you to go elsewhere.
Sure.
You know? And so, hey, look, best of luck to him. And if he comes back, he comes back. Obviously, right now, we need him definitely back in there with our lack of tight ends due to the injury or whatever. But it's like you're saying, he's not going to make headway on the top 3. You know what I mean? And the way Rodgers and Hodges, some of those guys are, you know, playing, he's still going to probably be down there and below them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, look, it's just not – at some point, it's just like it's not even fair to you. If you really want to play, let's see if another team picks you up. You can get in there immediately. There are teams that can use you. You have talent now. Or you've always had talent, but you have 2 years.
Show potential. Yeah.
Right. And experience, and you've been practicing, you've been on a team. So it's only good beneficial for you to get that tape and everything like that. So
yeah.
Oh man. So hey, we will see. We will see about Logan Thomas.
I do have some good news to report on the injury front. Yeah. We had some guys come back this week. Our 2 guards, Andrew Norwell and Wes Schweitzer returned to practice. Okay. So now it's kind of trending that Schweitzer is going to be our starting right guard because Trey Turner, who we signed, came from Pittsburgh last year, who they sort of penciled in to be our starting right guard. He's been out all preseason. Yeah. All training camp, everything. So there's a good chance he may start the season injured. And so Schweitzer's going to be the right guard to probably take over, which, this kind of shows how valuable he is to come in and plug and play like he can. And I think that's going to show our 53 is going to change a little bit. We may have a backup center because Schweitzer can't be that guy. And they also brought back, hot off the press, thank you, Abdul, for letting us know. Wes Martin got brought back. We signed him, and maybe it's one of these like, hey, he can play on Saturday. He knows our scheme pretty well. He can just come right in. We've got some guys that dinged up. We need bodies. Let's go. But they brought him back. I can't say I love the move. I don't like bringing retreads like this. But,
Oh yeah, It'll be interesting to see. It was funny. I just saw that. He said, "Welcome, fellas." Yeah, buddy.
Is that Ab? We appreciate it.
Oh yeah, you already know, man. Always hitting us with those news and notes. Yeah, man. So it shall be interesting. We shall see. I mean, Logan Thomas is a pseudo lineman, if you will. Like he's an extra lineman at times. I'm definitely on that line. So. Definitely we'll be glad when we see him suiting up in a Commanders jersey for the first time. Right now, take the time, bro.
Yep.
Take the time. Stay away from documentaries or anything. Don't make any phrases, pressure makes diamonds or any of this. Just head down and get back to the field.
When would you predict Chase Young's going to come back? Because the rest of the country was like shocked by this news. But we've known like he ain't going to be playing the first couple games. Ron said it.
Right.
What is your prediction of when we think we might see Chase Young?
I'm saying around the end of October. Yeah. I'm saying because we got October 6th. I know we got the Bears, and I think we got like the Packers after that. And I believe somewhere in there I'm trying to think. I think we got the Texans at one point. I think right around that time, maybe like right after bye week or something like that, then get him in there, give him the most possible time to get healthy, get back, get acclimated with what we're doing now, and just get his legs back under him. Because, if he's been practicing a little bit, but not hitting no real intense type stuff. So we got to get him back at that level. And he's another one. Just sit back.
Take your time. We know it's going to be a half a season. Right. Let's make it a good half.
Right. Exactly.
Let's make it an impactful half.
So then he can come in the second half of the season and get, 7.2 sack or 7.5 sacks. You know what I mean? A bunch of tackles for losses and all that stuff and just shine. I'm calling it right now, 7.5. All right. He's going to match his rookie total once he gets back in the year. Look it. Let's go. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving close to the end of the show. We appreciate you being with us, but we got something special for you on the other end of this transition.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, today, as you've seen over the last couple of weeks, we've been having guests on the show give their take on Washington, give their take on their teams, talking a little this and that about, what's going on this off season. And this week we have a special guest on the show. This man needs no introduction. He runs the late night. He's also started doing stuff during the days. His breakdown of Washington, and I'm going to send that to you after the show. His breakdown of Washington's last preseason game was on point. I mean, absolutely. Like, I went back there and I was like, oh, snap. Let me write that down real quick. All right, Nate, I see you. Okay. All right. Yo, without further ado, the host of Big Nate Sports Talk, my guy, Mr. Nathan Snell. What up, Nate?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Yeah.
What is up? How you been, man?
It's a beautiful Wednesday. It doesn't feel like one, but it's a beautiful Wednesday. How about y'all?
Oh, yeah. It's been a long
one.
Oh, yeah. Definitely no complaints. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, my guy Nathan Snell is the host of Big Nate Sports Talk, and where recently you just got finished with the WNBA, the Mystics part of the season, not the full season because they're still in the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and ladies and gentlemen, my guy has been on conference calls. He's been on late game interviews. He even had at one point, I know he had the coach kind of grit his teeth at him at some question you asked.
Yeah.
You know, but you're still in there. You're still in there talking to him.
Yep.
Yo, shout out to you, my guy.
Appreciate you.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Push him like that.
Oh yeah.
It was a fun season. I was very nervous at first, but there's many people I could think I can't name because I know you guys I don't want to take up any of your time. Helping me and gave me the confidence to do what I love other than you guys. So much love to them. So my first season, it's bittersweet. We got swept in the first round, but it's all good.
Oh yeah.
How many years is it since the Mystics won the title?
You with us? Did you freeze?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he froze out. Hold up. All right, Nate, hop back in. While we are waiting for Nate, we are here to talk about the Washington preseason game. We got Anthony Haney in the comments saying, "Oh, look, it's Dinkin and Duncan, and Nathan Snell, and then there's Durkin." Okay, Nathan.
I'm gonna need an explanation here. I don't know what he's saying. Spurs up, Anthony.
Right. So on this week in SEC, a couple weeks back, we were talking about old defensive coordinator that went to, I believe, Mississippi State, DJ Durkin.
Oh, Maryland coach.
Oh yeah, you know him. I thought that. So I was in the comments, and Anthony was starting to say something about the quarterback was Dinkin and Duncan, and I said, oh yeah, and that defense is solid. Now they got DJ Durkin. And so then he said, oh, it's Dinkin, Duncan, and Durkin. And then it's like, okay. Show went off the rails. There we go.
Yeah. That's a good pickup, though, by Lane. I mean, he let him – of course, Lane Kiffin would let him rehab his image there with him.
Oh, well. Yeah, right. Let's get into this. Washington versus Baltimore, third preseason game. We've talked about the positives and negatives thus far. Obviously, this is going to be – let me see no, not yet.
Looks like he's trying to get in.
All right, keep working with it. Keep coming on with it, Nate. We're gonna be here for you. So yeah, what are you looking for? What, as a matter of fact, while we have them, let's talk about our keys to victory. Let's go, bringing it back, baby. So what are your keys to victories? What are some things that you think that we need to focus on that are going to help us come out of this preseason victorious?
All right. So I'm going to start off with a hot start. Okay.
Yeah.
I read today where Rana said the starters are going to play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Some teams are just completely shutting it down. It makes sense. It's, preseason game 3 used to be your tune-up, your dress rehearsal, and then you kind of shut it down on game 4. But, now there's only 3. So you kind of figure out, what do we do here? And I think because there's been some problems I think they're going to trot him out there a little bit, which is I'm good with. And then after that, I'm just curious to watch some of these depth guys that we need to see out there, that we need to see make a play. I am going to watch a little bit of Heineke. I'm going to really watch a lot of Howell. This will be fun to watch him. But yeah, so like when it comes to starters, let's just start off hot, and then be done with it. And then I just want to see, can we get some impact players on that defensive line? Who's going to stand out? And are there any DBs out there that make plays? I want to see Percy Butler. I want to see Derek Forrest. And it's kind of saying it all preseason long.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm right there with you. And Nate, I'm gonna come to you in a minute. Are you?
Yep, I'm good. Can you hear me?
You good? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. There's an echo though.
No, I fixed it now. You should be good.
Yeah. Okay. All right, bet. Get that one out. All right, bet. So yeah, honestly, I'm looking how. Number one, I definitely want to see what he does. He's going to have more time to get in control of that offense. I just want to see efficiency. He's been doing has been nice, but that last interception to me, just like I said, it wasn't that much pressure. Although he was rushed a little bit, it just looked like he just went 2-step, 3-step drop and just threw it. Wasn't even really paying attention. Those are little things that you got to pick up in the NFL, but it's fundamentals. It's that type of thing, and I think he can do better than that. Honestly, my main thing is running game. I'm just so excited having a Brian Robinson, and then also having Gibson now with that fire under him. Now, okay, I got to make sure I can keep my position. So I'm really excited to see if we can continue our running game, continue that thing going into the regular season, because I think if we're able to start the regular season with a steady dose of Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, I think that is going to be able to take care of all the injuries we have at tight end and O-line, those type of things. It will be able to kind of mask some of those things in those first couple weeks with the Jaguars and Lions, who have been perennially bad. But obviously this year we're kind of expecting them to be something. So I want to make sure our running game is consistent. And like you said, that's secondary. I was telling them in training camp. I was talking about them in OTAs. Fuller, yeah, he had a couple after what we saw that first week when they got the early touchdown on him. He did look okay. One of the things you talked about, the rookie,
Butler. Yes,
Butler. One of the things that I've noticed when he's been over there on special teams. They've been talking about a couple times they're like, man, look at him. He is the first one down the field, and he is just screaming down the field. Now, he might not have been making the tackle, but he's making that the returner kind of cut it back and go that way. So I love how Percy Butler is showing that fight, and he's wherever I can get in, let me get in there and do that. And I want to see more of that. This is where I want to see the guys that we picked up, the Mahomes and Chris Paul. B-Rob has been doing what he's been doing, obviously. Jahan Dotson. I mean, how many catches did he have a week ago? Maybe one. And I think that's how many he's had all preseason. Okay, maybe our offense isn't patterned to. Maybe it's just, like we've been saying, there's only one ball and a lot of mouths to feed. But I just expected to see something from him outside of just the one catch. So
he's all in for week one, Sean. It's all right. He's all right. We don't need to give away the secrets yet.
Right. So Nathan, you've been covering us. You've been watching and paying attention to Washington. What are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to going into this game and going into the regular season?
Going into the third preseason game, I would expect Jack Del Rio and the defense had a very lengthy film study. I know some guys definitely had their feelings hurt. And that's not just on Jack Del Rio, that's on the coaches too. But I'm hoping that the defense, you have a better defense than what you had against Kansas City. The offense has been, for the most part, doing well. I don't expect Carson Wentz to be out there in the third game. Typically, by the third game, we already know the starters won't be out there. The third game
he will be. They said he will be playing.
Oh, he will be. Okay.
The starters will be.
Okay, I didn't pay attention to that.
It just got announced this afternoon. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was
late breaking.
Yeah. Okay, so I missed it. I mean, at this point of the preseason game, like I said in my video, Brian Robinson's now the number one running back. Then it's Antonio Gibson, then maybe JP to get the second spot. The offensive line, for the most part, once they get everybody back healthy, they should be okay. So, I mean, there's still some guys that are making some strong cases to be on the team. I think Ron Rivera may have found a niche in Antonio Gibson as a returner, because he did use him as punishment for fumbling the ball.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just expecting just overall a better game plan and better focus. Because the third preseason game, we all know, it's your last opportunity to really show be on that 53-man roster. I mean, for the most part, I mean, you see the flashes. I just think it's just putting it all together. And I said it, like, it's each preseason game is different. Like, for all I know is that, like, for hypothetically against Kansas City, you would have saw Patrick Mahomes help to like 50 yards in the first half. So anything can happen in the preseason game. So
right, absolutely.
Would you like me to speak on Baltimore's behalf?
I do, but before you do that, I do want to talk about something that you brought up on your show. Third downs. We talked about it a week ago. We gave up like 11.
Yep.
This week, as you saw, we gave up an exorbitant amount.
6. In the first half, they were 6-6 in the first half.
Exactly, and I think altogether we gave up 9 of 15.
9. Yep.
So what I mean, that's the same problem we've been having a year ago, and it doesn't seem to be fixed. How do we remedy that?
I think first and foremost, I think that Cinco defense that he's had out there, and with all due respect, it doesn't work unless you really have young athletic guys. I think his defensive system, I just don't think you have guys that I don't think know the system. I think the front seven know it, but as far as like corners and the safeties, like on the one play where I think it was Curl that literally left his corner on an island. Like, you got to communicate. But I think a lot of it I think it's system. And I think Jack Del Rio really has to make some changes. I think this is going to be his last year if they're not, and I'm still sticking with my guarantee, at least a top 15, top 20 defense.
Okay.
I really don't know what to expect. So I'm keeping my expect. I'm going in with the an expectation of don't break, don't bend. Mm-hmm. So I think the preseason showed who can thrive in that system and who can't, other than if your name's not Jonathan Allen, Payne, and then obviously Chase Young's not there.
Yeah. And
then I mean, you don't have certain guys like, Collins is gone now, so it's going to take the work for the young guys to adjust to the system. So for the most part, I give it like the first 4 weeks and let's see what it looks like. But I think this is the year, because to be 30th, 31st, and allowing third downs as a defense last year, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that there's a lot of pressure right now on Ron and on Jack Del Rio, like you said, because we're seeing the same things we saw before. And I think Del Rio is under the gun right now. And I think it's, but the thing I don't know is if you fire him mid-season, who takes over?
Yeah.
Because unlike some other times we've had folks who were former coordinators back to position coaches, I don't know if we have anyone on there that would then be the next person to step up. But I certainly think that Ron and Jack Del Rio are feeling the pressure of the defense struggling. One thing I read, and this was, a little overreaction Sunday, information here, but it kind of makes sense, is tell me why, if you're having the same troubles last year as you did this year as you did last year, tell me why you would re-sign Daron Payne then.
He's your best option. Who else do you have out there that you could sign?
And it's not working though.
I mean,
right now, but this offseason, why bring him back then? If you're seeing the same junk, if the defensive line isn't doing better, why keep the same parts together? was kind of the question that got posed. And yeah, like I said, it's an overreaction on a Sunday morning after a preseason game, but it's like it also makes you think.
Well, and that kind of goes back to front office. It's kind of like, what's the identity? I said that last year and this year. What's the identity that Washington is trying to build? And I think I just don't really see it, honestly. I think it's just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. That's why, like when you said that Ron and Jack are at there's pressure, I've also said that there's 50% the players, 50% coaching, and I just think that these guys just don't. I hate to say it, but Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, they're old school coaches.
Yes,
they just don't. I hate to say it, but a lot of the old school coaches, they just don't vibe with these players today. And I think a lot of it is they're not both have to be receptive to each other, playing styles, coaching styles, because you have to learn your coaches, but you have to learn your players. You know, each one has their strengths and weaknesses. So I think what you're really seeing is you've got some vets, you've got some guys that can lead, but I think there's definitely a disconnect of trusting your players, but more importantly, trusting your coach. That's what I've seen in these two preseason games.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. And I honestly, for me, I think it's more general. I think it breaks down to complementary football. If you look at the Chiefs offense helped their defense. Their defense helped their special teams, and the cycle kept going. Yep. It feels like it's each individual section is by themselves. You know, the defense is playing on these short fields, but it's because the offense is 3 of 10 on third down and 0 of 1 on fourth. You know, we're not helping them out. Now, part of that might be going back to what you're saying is play calling. You know what I mean? We were running the ball very consistent, and maybe in preseason they're trying to see, okay, what can he do? What would this play look like against them or whatever? But, you know, if we're getting off the field, 3 or 4 plays, the D is not getting their proper, breather. And then we're not getting to see what we need to see. The only person that really got some serious time was, like I was saying before, Tress Way.
Right. Tress Way,
250 daggone punt yards in a preseason. I mean, that's not winning football right there.
So, but see, then it goes back to like last season. Then, so like then you got to go, okay, front office. Like, what are the conversations that Ron, his coaches that are having with front office? Because there seems to just be this, Ron can just he can just do whatever he wants. I think he has a little too much power. Like, I think I'm still sticking with my pick, Washington will win 10 games, but I could potentially see Ron Rivera after this season not being the head coach.
Well,
I can see that.
How?
With 10 games?
Is he resigning or are they firing him?
If they don't make the playoffs, they'll fire him.
Dan Snyder doesn't have no money right now.
Yeah.
How's he going to do that? And who's going to come here? I see where you're going with it. But like, okay, you fire Ron Rivera after 3 seasons. Who are you going to get?
Nobody credible is going to want to come.
Another Jay Gruden.
But I mean, like, the thing is, if you're seeing a pattern with, okay, what is it about his teams, particularly these last 3 years, that he's not getting?
Yeah,
that's the question. Like, what is it? Like, that's the question. Like, why is it? By year 2, he should have at least been. This team should have been a little bit better. I feel like it's kind of regressed in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, they won 7 games of each season, and
last year I think injuries played, but I'm like, go ahead, Will.
Well, I was just gonna say, we do kind of remember Snyder being the guy who fires coaches pretty quickly, but also let's remember since 2009. He's allowed coaches at least 4 or 5 years. Mike Shanahan got 4 years. Jay Gruden got to 5 years. So he has kind of backed off this whole, like, I'm going to quickly axe you like he did with Marty and with Steve and all that stuff. But I mean, I'm with you. It's like one of these, like, are we seeing a progression? And that's what Ron has said. Year 3 is when you should see the blueprint come into action. You really should. And I think, in any ways that very first year winning the division was more of a curse because they just kind of got lucky that it was a really bad division.
No,
Yeah.
I disagree. I disagree with you. It was a curse. I just think that yes, the division was bad, but
Look
those
at our
guys
competition
still
that year.
they still but all 4 teams in the NFC East, they get checks. You gotta go out there and play.
I respect it, but look at the competition we played that
The
year.
quarterbacks that we
Yeah.
beat,
Nick Mullins.
they weren't NFL starters.
As opposed to last year when we
they're still getting paid.
No. You're not telling me that Nick Mullins and Lamar Jackson are on the same page, bro.
No, absolutely not. I'm just.
But
saying,
that's what I'm saying. If we're playing a Nick Mullins and then backing that up with a DiNucci, yes, we're going to be favored. We're going to have big time, and it's going to make our defense, who was maybe top 15 defense, look like a top 5 defense, as opposed to a year ago when you have injuries that came into play. And then we have, in a 3-week span, Aaron Rodgers. I think we had Aaron Rodgers. We had
didn't you have Tom Brady?
Mahomes. We had Brady. We won the Brady game, but the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, and one we played somebody else before that. I mean, it's
I can't remember, but I know you're talking about
a lineup of teams that it was a struggle.
But no one was expecting Dak to get hurt, and then no one expected Nick Mullins to be starting. And just saying.
But I'm not saying that they shouldn't win the game. Yeah. You're right. We should win the game when you're up against those guys. Right. But it's hard then to say, like, we got so hyped over the defense that we got our heads in the clouds, not realizing the defense was going up against Mullins and DiNucci and all these other players when they looked better than they actually were. And I think that could have changed the blueprint of, we don't need a whole lot more to patch this up when there were a lot of leaks and they just didn't fix it.
Yeah.
I figured.
Because when we came in there, when we came in last year, and you could see it, we can go back to the footage from a year ago. When we came in last year, we were on high horses. We were all sitting there. If I'm not mistaken, Ab, and you're in the comments, you said that we have a Super Bowl team.
He did.
You know what I mean?
My Washington football team.
But none of us really, chastised them. None of us really chopped them down for that. We were kind of wanting to believe, well, if we had the defense play like we had a year ago, and then, hey, Fitzpatrick, which obviously we didn't know that wasn't going to last the daggone quarter. Like, if we had those things, yes, we could have. That would have been a great improvement. The fact that we got 7 games a year ago is kind of like, were we the same team? Were we on the same plane? Look, at the end of the day, this is the blueprint year, and this is like everybody's saying. I don't think he gets fired after this year because Dan Snyder's got enough to worry about. I don't even think Dan Snyder's looking. Oh my goodness!
Why you got called out.
That's funny.
But look, we know. Hey, we know your time is precious. I know.
No, you guys are fine. It's all right.
Look, we got to talk about this game. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, there's going to be a bunch of people at this game.
I heard.
One right here, and one in the comments. Mr. Ab Lowe will also be there at the game. So we're going to try to do something at the game, some kind of live spot or something where we're doing a little preview, a little back and forth to kind of talk about this. Talk to me about Baltimore, your team, and what are you expecting in this game, and like what's your overview of the how they've been?
Well, we signed DeMarcus Robinson. We made a good amount. We made some cuts. Slade Bolden got hurt, so he's on the injury reserve. We did have someone. I think he came out of Navy. Diego Fargot. He's a linebacker.
Okay.
Jalen Moore got cut. We cut a tackle. Gus Edwards, we put him on the physically unable to perform list. The young guys, man, they've been playing. Isaiah Likely has definitely the preseason MVP. It just in these 2 games. Credit Eric DaCosta for not only finding not only Isaiah Likely but Charlie Kohler. I'm not I'm not really sold right now on Nick Boyle because he came off an injury, but they say he's in great shape. I think those are going to be your 4 tight ends because that single back tight end formation. That's cheese for us. Still having some concerns with the offensive line because Mr. Ronnie Stanley, that's my guy. I love him. But for some unknown painful reason, when we give guys money, they either get hurt or they don't, or they left their game at home, at the hotel, and the car.
Insert Joe Flacco. I'm sorry, man. Hey, I think he's starting now for the Jets.
Well, I think like a few weeks till Zach Wilson comes back. Thank God he did not tear his ACL. Thank God.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, for the most part, just the offensive line. I think for right now they're going to have Jawan James play left tackle. Okay. The left guard position for right now is still a battle. I put, like I said in my video, I had Ben Cleveland right now, the number one guy, then Ben Powers and Tyree Phillips, who's not really a left guard. Jesus. Yeah, so I mean, for the most part, it's just really the left guard position. But we did cut some corners. Kavon Seymour, I think we cut him finally. It's going to be interesting for the defensive backs. Yeah. We're definitely going to be. I have 3 words for that comment, but I'm keeping that to myself.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you this, man. I was so excited because I was looking at your depth chart beforehand, and I have Mark Andrews in a keeper league, and I decided to keep him in the 3rd round. And I was like, man, because I've also heard that his numbers may go down, and so, but I did. I looked at your wide receivers and say, I gotta keep this guy. Who's going to catch the ball in Baltimore?
I don't really understand this whole, like, you act like there's no receivers in Baltimore. I don't think you need a Randy Moss or a T.O. or a Devontae Adams to be a sexy offense.
Well, enlighten us on who outside of Rashad Bateman you have.
James Prochet, Tylan Wallace, Devin Duvernay, who's an all-pro. Then you have DeMarcus Robinson. What was the other kid's name? Well, we cut Jalen Moore. Slade Bolden got hurt. We had someone named Billy Gaither. But again, I've said this. I don't know how many times I'm going to keep saying it. Baltimore, ever since we came here, ever since the team started in '96, Baltimore's always been a power first run football team. Yeah. That's never going to change. That's always been the Baltimore Ravens philosophy.
So does that mean you don't go out and get a top?
You guys always had a legit receiver. Like you had Steve Smith for a while there. Like you always had somebody.
Torrey Smith, Anquan Bolden, Derek Mason.
I mean, are you excited about this wide receiver core?
I'm confident in it. I think
confident and excited, 2 different words.
Confident. I'm fine. I think they are motivated for this year. I just don't think you need a Devontae Adams or a Tyreek Hill to make your offense look sexy.
And like I said, I got Andrews on my fantasy team, so I'm okay with you just going and I may be drafting Lamar. So if I'm getting every touchdown the Ravens have, I'm okay with that. But I was looking at that going, huh.
And then I think also too, people just gloss over the fact that we dealt with injuries last year. I mean, to the point where you didn't really have a full healthy running game. Mark Andrews was pretty much the guy. The wide receiver you did draft was never happy in being here in the first place, even though people ignore that he did have a season high drops every year, but people ignore that. Baltimore does. No, we good.
It's Ab saying like with Washington ignoring our linebacker deficiencies. Yeah.
I like our receivers. I just don't think you need a sexy receiver to be this elite offense. We're not. You don't need to be a Kansas City offense. You don't need to be Buffalo. You don't need to be those kind of offenses.
Well, let me ask you this: where do you rank your receiving core?
rank it
Are you
out
top
throughout
15?
the league.
Yeah.
Top 20.
Oof.
Okay. Well, look, we can go on this all day long, and as you see, the people in the comments seem to be jumping on this. Let's talk about this game coming
Yes,
up.
please.
Let's talk about this. First of all, y'all won last week, right? Or this past week, right?
Yes, we did.
So you are still undefeated in preseason, the Baltimore Ravens. How do you feel personally that you're going to take your first loss live with me there? Let's go. Bang, bang. Nathan's not going to sit with me.
This is y'all, you Washington, man. I tell you. No, I mean, in all seriousness, you really got to credit the coaching staff and how they prepare the guys day in and day out. This year, we've taken a better approach with how we practice. And I could see that in the progress that I'm hearing from training camp. We've had some small injuries, guys going a little too hard on the practice field, but they'll be back in a week or so. But it's just the level of being prepared, being motivated, and I think everybody's got something to play for this year. Yeah. Like last year being 8-3, that was fool's gold, and everybody laughed at me and were like, "How could you be 8-3 and not make the playoffs?" The team was held with tape and glue. Like, even if we did make the playoffs, we'd have lost in the first round. Like, I think this year everybody's motivated and to play with something, and then also too, you've got practically everybody back healthy. Like, I was expecting Marcus Peters to be out there this early. Like Calais Campbell, he contemplated retiring, but he's motivated. Like, I just think that the team as a whole, they're motivated and they're all playing for something. So credit John Harbaugh and the coaching staff for just getting the guys ready.
Yeah. But for this week, what are you expecting? Like, are you expecting to see your starters? Or are you expecting just to see rookies? Or what are you looking at?
I think it's going to be the same way it was before, because he didn't have most of the vets out there last game. So
it's the Tyler Huntley show?
Most likely, yes. I'll say the Tyler Huntley show.
I'll take that.
If you do have some vets out there, you're probably going to have for like a couple drives, and then that's it.
But definitely no Lamar.
No.
Okay. And speaking of that, what is the progress? Like, where are we at with that? Will he get signed before the season, or what? Well, do you know what's stopping him? Because we know he's his own agent. So what's the holdup? Is he gonna wait?
I think he's focused. He's made it clear that he wants to win a Super Bowl. Eric DeCosta said it in the press conference in the exit interview that they're waiting at the table. I've heard that because of what that guy in Cleveland with that guaranteed money, that kind of threw a wrench in the thing. But Steve Bisciotti said that's not an issue. They want to pay him. I don't really. I'm not worried. I think they will get some. There will be an agreement. And even Lamar said it on the sideline interview. Like, he's not listening to that. But I think Baltimore they did give him an offer last season, and it was, according to Quadri Ismail, it was a generational wealth type deal. Yeah. And he just turned it down. So I don't know what it was. No. So I think I think Joe Flacco did the same thing too. He's taking a chance on himself. So yeah, they'll sign him.
Yeah.
So all right. So preseason game 3, when we're playing the Ravens, this is where you get a chance to see your depth. All right. And the Ravens are the very best drafters out there. You said it earlier about the cost of finding players. Who from this year's draft class are you looking to see, not just on Saturday, but throughout the year? someone that, besides just maybe a first or second round pick, you're like, and maybe it is one of those where you're like, I'm excited for this guy.
Kyle Hamilton is one. Lindenbaum. His fun fact, we hadn't drafted center since I want to say we drafted Jeff Mitchell or Mike Flynn.
Come on.
Travis Jones, I definitely think he's shown flashes of definitely what he could be. You all know Ajobo's out for the year, but
really?
Got hurt in pro day.
Pro day, yeah. He tore his
Well, I remember that. I didn't know he was out for the year. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Isaiah Likely, Kohler. I want to see how those two behind Mark Andrews will look like. I mean, those are my guys at the moment I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm also looking to see Mr. Jordan Stout. The punter. The punter.
You're excited about a punter?
Yes, I am.
What?
He looks pretty good. I'm kind of like, maybe we made the right pick instead of not getting the guy Buffalo drafted.
No, not the punt god. No, Matt Ariza is amazing. And look, I don't know how are you focused on anything that's any other kicker on your team that's not your guy, not the GOAT, if you will.
Singer.
Yeah. Tucker is the greatest thing kicking.
It's a new day because Sam Cook was with us since 2006. He was technically the oldest person on the team. So like those are some big shoes to fill. Like I think he's held for Matt Stover, Cundiff. He's held for a couple kickers before he retired. So those are some big shoes to fill. So if you can't hold the ball for Justin Tucker, it's going to be a long season for your ball. But he'll be okay. So those are my guys I'm looking forward to seeing. But overall, I'm looking for just a healthy roster that clearly is motivated, focused, and ready to get back to work. So
done.
What you think of Colin's comment?
Wow.
No comment.
No comment. Wow. Too early to see.
It's a Bucky Brooks comment right there. Oh, off the camera. This guy. Wow.
Internet trouble?
No, he did. I'm sure he did this on his own. Listen, look.
Juan Soto.
You're gonna deal with comments like this all year, buddy. Let's go.
I do think it's going to be interesting to see if, like you're saying, if it's time to pay up here, is for the team and him to do a little bit of assessing. I mean, they did ship out the malcontent, and send him to Arizona for both the organization and the players. Say, if he won a championship, are we the right combination to get it done? I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe, like you said, maybe they just need one or two extra players. I mean, they draft so well, so maybe it's just like, let's just stay the course. We're getting there.
Yep.
Now, this is where, on the flip side, this is where I kind of go back to some of the things you've been saying, Nate, is that even if he wins the title, it's going to be pushed back again. Like, oh, well, let's see what happens now. I would just hate for this to be a situation like Dak Prescott, where he plays in that fifth year, gets hurt, and then all of a sudden now he's waiting until the very last minute till they decide to pay. Like now, in my mind, Lamar is better than him as far as player-wise. I think Dak did that system is a little more pass heavy, but Lamar is definitely, unanimous MVP, one of the only two people to do that. So I honestly think it's one of those things. I mean, I just want him to get paid and get that thing done. And I get what's going on with the whole background, and we're ready at the table and this and that, but let's just get it done. Let's get this thing paid and so we can go. Because you waiting for a Super Bowl, there's just too much that comes into play for a Super Bowl. You need more than just a stud. A lot of teams it's just the pieces, the right pieces come together with the right coaching and everything like that. So, young man, get your money. Get your money, man, because, tomorrow's not promised. And the least you can do right now is take care of that family and do all that stuff around there.
I think he and the Ravens will do that. I just think it's going to be on their time, not on what people like Colin or the media got to say. Not on the media's time. It's on Lamar and the Ravens' time. So no disrespect intended, Colin.
So let me ask you this: Week 1, you're going out there, first game of the year, and he's still not paid. Are you at all nervous?
No, I'm not. Can you say that for any other quarterback?
I don't think you need to be either. He's focusing on the season.
The Cardinals didn't pay Kyler Murray. Are you going to say that same question?
Well, Kyler sat out half the year. He was injured half the year last year, and they still paid him. So I think they're still going to.
So Week 1, are you going to say that? Make that ask the same question?
I don't ask no because I don't think Kyler as good as Lamar.
Okay.
And you know that. So that's not even retorting me back with it. Like, I think Lamar is otherworldly talent, and that.
What I'm saying is just like, I'm just saying, like that. Like no other quarterback gets those kind of like. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying these are the type of things that Lamar has to deal with. Well, if he goes out there Week 1, it's a mistake.
He's also every other quarterback also has an agent. And every other quarterback also has gone into that and gotten that taken care of. The only reason why we're talking about this, and we're coming to you because you're the insider, because he is his own, he's his own agent. And I mean, we've seen only other information we have is from the Ravens, and the Ravens are saying, "Oh, we're sitting here at the table." So it's that's why we're asking. It's like makes you wonder, well, what is stopping you?
Right.
That's what it is. But look, we're not going to go on any more Lamar. I understand. I might have touched the nerve, and I apologize for that.
No, you're fine.
Let's talk about this game coming up, the third preseason game. Last look at our team before the regular season starts. That's where my mind is. I'm already deep down into the season. What are your thoughts, Nate? What do you think the score will be, and who takes the W?
27-18 Baltimore.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Will, what you got, man?
23-20, game-winning field goal. Ravens win.
Oh,
the streak continues.
No, no. 27-24. I'm doubling down. Sam Howell comes in late. Gets 2 late touchdowns and gets the W. Washington, in my game where I'm there with Ab and my guy Nathan, we get the W. Let's go.
And then let me ask you this. Who is going to, at quarterback, is Huntley going to play the whole game or are they going to bring him out?
No, they'll probably have the same like they had the last couple games they had before he got cut. They had Brent Huntley, Anthony Brown, and Huntley. So you're going to see Huntley and Anthony Brown share some possessions. And they both, honestly, truthfully, they have been balling. Huntley especially.
Huntley has, yeah.
Anthony Brown, you actually could find some value for him, honestly.
Is that guy from Oregon? Yeah.
Okay. He is. I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah. I think I've seen him play a little bit, but yeah. Okay. I like that. So,
and also, I hope Derek Wolfe is okay. We did back in June terminate his contract. It was an injury settlement. There was some pushback because there was a picture of him on Instagram after getting back surgery. He literally he was hunting in the woods and he had a big black bear posted on his shoulder. Yeah. And people were like,
back injury, right?
Back injury. What's going on here? That's hilarious.
So,
oh man, I can dig it. Well, look, do you have anything going on tonight, tomorrow morning? Like, what are some things we can look forward to from Big Nate Sports Talk?
No videos tonight. I had the 2 videos that went up earlier today. Really waiting for who advances to round 2 for the WNBA playoffs, and then just get ready for week 1 of the NFL season. September for baseball is almost here. So last month of baseball for the playoffs. We just got a lot of different things coming up. So just stay tuned.
Yeah, I can dig it.
How excited are you about them Orioles, man?
I'm still hurt that Trey Mancini's not with us. He's in Houston. That definitely is a hard pill to swallow. That's tough in any rebuild, but I'm really proud of the fact that they really definitely are building something here. When you've had, for me growing up, I've had to endure. The last time I remember them being successful was '97. And
those are the glory years. Buddy.
And then after that, like I saw Cal Ripken until 2001, and then I had to endure mediocrity.
Yeah,
for like
10 years of it.
14 and a half
Buck.
years.
Yeah.
And then it just that magic just disappeared. Like he paid Chris Davis, and that didn't pan out. Javado Jimenez just. Yeah,
but they had to pay Davis. Like after that year, like you just couldn't let him go, and it ended up being it backfired on him. They let Nelson Cruz go and paid Chris Davis, and it was the wrong move.
Harping that they should have signed Mark Reynolds over Chris Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still sticking with that, but I credit to Mike Elias, Brandon Hyde. I'm sitting here like. Damn, like you kind of set up to fail, and you're not really getting an opportunity to show what you can do. And like this year, they just took the they loosened the reins off the team. So I'm just really proud. Even though there has been some family drama with the Angelos family, it seems to have subsided, but they've really got a bright future. I'm curious to see what they're going to do in free agency. They got Matt Holliday signed with the first overall pick. Even though there were some guys other guys I would have preferred. That's okay. They've proven that we've proven to the baseball world that we're not what we used to be. And the fact that we look at the AL East, other than New York, it's going to be a bloodbath.
It's going to be tough. You know, I think it's interesting though, because like it's exciting for Baltimore, and I always want Camden Yards to have a good team because it's such a gem of a ballpark. It's not fair, but I also can't help but get irritated that baseball allows this to happen because, like you said credit to Hyde and Elias, but they came in here and said we don't give two about the next 3-4 years. We're just gonna suck. And we're not even going to have, but it's a baseball problem. There's no reason that Max Scherzer should make more money this season than the Orioles and Pirates have on payroll. Like, that's an institutional problem. Yeah. But like all these young guys are now starting to come up, and I mean, Rushman is so much fun to watch, and he's exactly what we thought Matt Wieters was going to be, and then some. I mean, so they're an extremely fun ball club, and they're only getting better. Gunnar Henderson's coming up next. It's like. The cavalry's coming, so it's exciting in Baltimore. Like you said, this offseason is going to be fun, but it's like, to me, it's like, you also built this team just like the Braves did. You said, we're going to suck, but then we're going to get up there. It's like, you tanked. And so it's kind of hard to like get, excited about the process.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely going to be different next few years because with the new CBA, I think it's not in 2024, like they're kind of taking back the tanking. You're going to be in a lottery. You're not going to have the automatic first number one overall pick.
Oh, really?
Yes, because
I don't like lotteries. I can't support that. Oh,
really quick, the Players Association. Let me not use that word. Complained about we don't like teams like Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Arizona, always tanking every year and they get number one overall pick. We want that changed. But in my mind, I'm like, well, you guys don't consider some free agency. Right. What am I supposed to do?
Right. Oh, that's true. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Talk Major League Baseball. I know, we are. If you came here to see football, we quit that about 20 minutes ago. Ladies and gentlemen,
sorry.
Here with Nathan Snell. Yo, Nate, we appreciate you coming on here, talking this stuff. Are you? So you said you're going to be covering the rest of WNBA, but are you also be covering baseball and playoffs and everything, and then getting into football?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's going to be a transition. So as soon as the WNBA season's over, football, Then we're gonna get in baseball playoffs. The Wizards. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Bad season coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're not going down that road. All right, Nate, we're gonna let you go, man. We appreciate you being on here, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know, check out my guy Nathan Snell. His YouTube is one Nathan Snell. The show is Big Nate Sports Talk on any podcast platform that you can find it on. Definitely tune into him. What season are you on now?
10.
Wow.
10. Yeah.
Good for you.
Season 10. I can dig it. So, Nathan, appreciate you. Always glad you can hop on the show. And next time we won't mention Lamar. Okay, we'll make sure that Lamar isn't.
I love talking Lamar.
Right there.
Look,
there you go.
Yeah, buddy.
There you go.
I like the record thing behind the picture.
Shout out to Canva.
I like it. Hey, I'm telling you, man. Hey, Let's Talk Football is about to be sponsored by Canva because we do so much work through them.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you that. All right, Nate, man. We'll see you, man. We're on the flip side, man.
Yes, sir.
I'll wrap with you.
Yes,
all
sir.
right, bud.
All right.
Thanks, Nate.
Woo-wee. Yeah,
there
buddy.
you are, Sean.
Oh yeah.
There you are.
We have it going. And I'm glad you showed that, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know, if you can't catch us live on here and you can't catch us on the rewind, you got a lot of stuff doing. You can definitely pop us in the radio on any podcast site you want to look for. We are Washington Football Weekly, ladies and gentlemen, and definitely all this good stuff. And I'm going to tell you, I love watching the replays, but I find it very enjoyable to listen to. Like, I don't know, maybe I imagine how we reacted and everything like that. But
sure.
Some shows I've tried to listen to on YouTube, on podcasts, and I'm like, oh my God, this is getting boring. But with us, it's like kind of, upbeat, always got something going on. So
yeah, okay. Try to make it interesting. Try not to bore you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of the show. We appreciate all of you that have come in here to watch. Ab, Anthony, Colin, Nicholas Rosario.
Hello from Wrigley.
Oh yeah. And shout out to our guy Nathan Snell coming on the show. Yeah. Hey, football is almost here. One more preseason game, and then we are getting rolling. We're going to have to potentially find a Jacksonville Jaguars fan for that first week.
Tough.
I don't know any Jacksonville Jaguars fans, so we'll see what happens that week. But if we could do that, that would be pretty dope. Pretty dope. And then week 2, Catherine and I will be going to Detroit, Michigan, to see the Lions play our Washington Commanders. Ooh, I'm excited about that one.
That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely going to be doing something live from there. But, yeah, so we are going to let you go. I appreciate the time that Will's been able to be on here with me. I know you've looked over to the side a couple times as Trish.
I got a warning that when I jumped in at one point, I woke her up.
All right, Trish, we apologize.
I'm sorry, I got excited.
Right. So hey, absolutely love doing this, and I'm gonna continue to do it. Check us out Saturday, 7 p.m. Washington versus Baltimore in Baltimore. We will do something. We'll be on there. Myself, Ablo will be there, and Nathan Snell, and actually some family members and everything like that. So definitely shout that out. Can't wait for that. And then the following week, we're back. Or no, 2 weeks because it's
2 weeks.
September 11th.
Yeah.
So I forgot because there's only 3 preseason games now.
Right.
So the following week, we will be there. First game of the season, Jacksonville Jaguars. Hopefully get that first W. I know what I predicted earlier in the year, but I'm going to try to be optimistic and not pessimistic.
Right.
So we're going to try to get that W. Look, for myself, Mr. Sean Spencer, my guy in South Carolina, Mr. Will Kramer. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being here with us, and we will see you next time. Deuces.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The line.
this. All right. I am Janae